Happy Thursday morning. Find a comfortable position to start in. Meet yourself with the energy level that you're feeling, whether you need to lie down on your back, come upside down in a standing forward fold, or just sit upright. I want to start off by reading a quote by the late Dr. Wayne Dyer. When you're at peace, you radiate a different kind of energy than when you're stressed or depressed. The more peaceful you become, the easier you can deflect the negative energies of those you encounter. There's a lot going on in the world today besides the pandemic, and I try not to read too much news, but taking note of what's going on, we can start to carry the heaviness of energy of forces conflicting around us, just to be general about it. But as we come to the practice of yoga, it's reestablishing our home base, connection with what yoga philosophy calls Satnam, or your true nature, your true self, which is the ever-flowing, peaceful energy of pure love. And now it might sound like, oh, so floral and la, 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 but it is true. When we are at a place of being okay with ourselves, our world, that is our natural state of being. More than okay. So here's a little bit more from Wayne Dyer, excuse me. This is like having an invisible shield around you that nothing can penetrate unless it's at a higher spiritual energy than your shield. A hostile current is greeted with a smile and inner knowing that this is not your stuff. A person who attempts to bring you into their misery cannot succeed without your agreement. Not only can you deflect the negativity of those around you, but your sense of peace will bring others into harmony with you. There's only so much we can do about what's happening externally, but there is all that we can do with the way we connect to how we feel inside, our perception of what's going on, and how we can be aware of how that is coming out externally in our interactions with the world. So as we nurture our feeling of well-being, our feeling of groundedness, of balance, of peace, of harmony, then that is how we affect those around us inherently, even in just our presence, in our powerful presence. So let's join together and build whatever it is that will strengthen you along this journey today. Bringing the hands together at the heart, or even placing one hand at the heart center, one hand at the navel center. Close your eyes and take a moment to connect with what's happening within. In this practice of pausing and compassionate, deep listening to our bodies, to our inner selves, clarify your intention in this practice today. Knowing that as we do this work within ourselves, we're that more useful to those around us. As you deepen the breath, invite a steady, soft sound as you close the lips and gently narrow the back of your throat. Bringing the quality of your intention into the way you're breathing. Keeping the breath gentle and smooth, softly open your eyes. And let's come down to all fours, hands and knees. Setting your knees on the ground just under your hips, parallel your shins, and place your wrists a couple inches in front of your shoulders. Then with an inhalation, raise your right arm up towards the sky, leveling your two hips so you feel the twist happen at your waistline. Exhale, thread your right arm, palm face up, underneath your left bent elbow, and rest the right side of your head all the way to the ground or on top of a prop, like a pillow. As you continue to level your two hips, breathe space from your lower spine between each vertebra through your neck as you soften the shoulders away from it. Breathing out, feel stability through your shins and knees rooting into the ground, and gently turn the chest further to face the left side of your mat. Taking about 3 more full breaths here. Feel the breath expand into the backs of your lungs, gently sliding the shoulder blades wider across your back ribs. Keeping the jaw soft. With an exhalation, press down with the left hand and rise up slowly to all fours, hands and knees. Then inhale, raise the left arm up towards the sky, steadying your two hips. Exhale, thread the left arm, palm face up, underneath your right bent elbow, resting the left side of your head all the way down, maybe using a prop underneath. Breathe in and feel the lengthening of your spine from your pelvis. Breathe out. Feel your ribcage gently rotate deeper into the twist. Perhaps in your mind's eye, you visualize the breath beginning at the bottom of your spine at your tailbone. And as you inhale, rising up to your neck and to the top of your head. Then as you exhale, back down each vertebra to the base of the spine. This can be a good strategy if you find the mind very actively wandering off, away from the body and the breath in this moment. Now with an exhalation, press the ground and slowly rise up to all fours. Find a way to situate your hands so that you can stretch your wrists and forearms. Whether you flip one palm face up at a time for a few breaths and then switch, or you spin the fingertips to turn out, maybe to face your knees or the outer edges of your mat as we enter a few cat-cows. So breathing in, stretch your lower spine from your pelvis, then coil your chest up, sliding the shoulder heads down. As you breathe out, firm the abdomen, hollowing the belly as you drop the head, tuck the tailbone under, and round the back. Take a few more cycles, really nice and slow, so that the slow pace lends itself to mindfulness and movement. Not rushing to get anywhere particular, but acknowledging that you are exactly where you need to be in each breath, each moment. Finding a sense of santosha, which is Sanskrit for contentment, as you move along the practice. Now with an exhalation, relax to a neutral spine. Spin your index fingers to face forward to parallel each other. Spread your thumbs wide and flat. Then tucking your toes with very bent knees, lift your hips as high as you can towards the rear of your mat, lengthening your back in downward facing dog. Take a few breaths. Whether you choose to hold still or to pedal the feet in place, warming up the backs of your legs, maybe swiveling the hips left and right, stretching the sides of your waist, maybe gently shaking and nodding your head to truly relax the neck and find space in it while lifting the shoulder blades onto your upper back and broadening them apart. Now beginning to hold still, keep the highest lift of your pelvis while you firm the fronts of your thigh bones back, lengthening the arms and dropping the skull as you reach. Your next inhalation, raise your right leg behind you. Then exhale, bend the right knee, turn open at the hip. Taking a few breaths, you might like to rotate the right leg, just gently lubricating the hip joint in both directions. Feel active grounding through both hands as you relax the neck and draw your left outer hip back. Re-squaring your hips, inhale, straighten the right leg behind you. Then exhale lightly, step the right foot forward just inside of your right hand. Come into a lunge of your choice, lowering the back knee or keeping it lifted. Breathe in and allow your pelvis to sink as you gaze forward on the ground. Breathe out and scissor your right hip back towards any degree of straightening the front leg as you bow towards it. Let's keep flowing. Inhale, bend the front knee again into a lunge. Exhale, draw the right hip back, extend your chest forward as you fold. Moving through 3 more cycles of breath. Inhale to lunge. Exhale, scissor the right hip back and fold. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, scissor and fold. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, scissor and fold. This time, inhale, lunge, plant the hands flat and step back to downward facing dog. Second side, inhale, raise the left leg behind you. As you exhale, bend the knee and turn open at the hip, taking a few breaths. If you'd like to rotate the thigh bone at the hip socket a few times, feel that you're actively and evenly grounding through both palms, letting the head fall as you tack your right hip back. Then re-squaring your hips, inhale, straighten the left leg behind you. Engage the belly as you exhale to softly land the foot. Just inside your left hand, find your choice of lunging. Breathe into the lunge and gaze forward. Breathe out, scissor the left outer hip back towards straightening the leg as you bow inside of it. Keep flowing. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, scissor left hip back, lengthen the chest forward and fold. Inhale, lunge. Finding a feeling of fluidity through breath and movement. Exhale, scissor and fold. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, scissor and fold. Inhale, lunge, look forward, step forward, and fold at the top of your mat. Feet hips width apart, parallel. Bend the knees at least slightly and press the ground or your legs as you lift the spine parallel to the floor and pause for a few breaths. Notice how you're engaging your abdomen while extending your sternum forward and sliding the shoulder blades down your back. Shifting more weight towards the balls of your feet, get a little longer through the spine and take another deep breath here in Ardha Uttanasana. Then exhale to fold. Firming down through the feet, inhale, sweep your arms overhead to rise up, using the strength of your legs and belly to support the spine. Exhale, join your palms together at your heart. Sun salutation A. Inhale, sweep the space around you, gaze up, palms touch. Exhale, hinge from your hips and bow towards the earth. Press the ground to your legs. Inhale, lift your heart and lengthen forward. Step back into your version of plank, knees down or legs straight, and exhale to shift forward. Keep lifting the belly as you hug the elbows to your side ribs to lower all the way down. Pelvis and tops of the feet on the floor. Inhale to cobra, engaging the back muscles. Draw the shoulders down. Exhale, press to your hands and lift your hips, downward facing dog. Let's give this 3 to 5 breaths as you create even more space throughout your neck and all of your spine, while firming down through the entire surface area of each palm, rotating your outer upper arms or triceps towards the ground, and lifting your sitting bones as you firm the tops of the thighs back. With very bent knees, lift your heels and hips high and look forward past your hands. Take a deep breath. And at the end of your exhalation, try holding the breath and walking or floating to the top in a forward fold. Inhale, press to lengthen halfway up. Exhale, fold in. Root firmly through the feet. Inhale, rise and gaze up, palms meet. Exhale, trace your palms down your center line. Again, inhale, sweep the arms up in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bow in Uttanasana. Inhale, half bow, Ardha Uttanasana. Either step to plank or lightly jump back to Chaturanga, which is halfway down. Lowering to your vinyasa, breathe in to coil your chest up, cobra or upward facing dog. Breathe out to lift the hips back to downward facing dog. Again, let's take 3 to 5 cycles of breath. Preparing for one more round of Surya Namaskar A. So not only in this process of sun salutations are we energizing the body and bringing the mind into a steady rhythm with the breath, but we're opening the space for a state of meditation through movement. Take the last one on your own, so when you feel ready, walk or float to the top and keep going, breathing in to lift and breathing out to lower. One last round of sun salutation A. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Feel the breath, move your body. And when you arrive in downward facing dog, re-steadying your breath, let's stay a few cycles. Remembering that ultimately, you are the teacher of your practice here. And that you have choices in how to tailor the physical movements and the intensity of the postures, knowing when to rest as your body asks you to. So from downward facing dog, breathe in to raise the right leg behind you. This time bend the knee and open the hip. Take another inhale and draw your left hip further back. As you exhale, lightly touch the right outer upper arm with your right knee and set the foot forward just outside the right hand. Lower the back knee and come into lizard lunge for a few breaths. Take your variation here, whether you want to bend the left knee and scoot it back, giving your quadricep a stretch by backstroking the right arm and catching hold of your left foot. Or if you want to give your IT band on the right leg a little more opening, flex the right foot and splay the right thigh open. Or if you want to come down to your forearms, just intensifying the hip opener. We've got about 3 more breaths. How do you hold space for yourself to digest whatever emotions, whatever energies have affected you, so that in that digestion you're also able to release what you no longer have to carry? As we make our way to Warrior 2, set your 2 hands at the top of your mat and step your right foot front and center between them. Lower the back heel as you straighten the left leg and align your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot, cartwheeling your arms to rise up. Right away, steady your gaze and steady your body and breath. Gently focusing the eyes on one spot past your right hand. Feel these adjustments as you bring awareness within the body. Left leg from the hip slightly rotates inward, pointing the left toes slightly to face the front of the mat. Right leg from the hip turns out completely as the right knee bends just above the ankle. You align the middle of the knee with the middle toe down the midline of the mat. As the pelvis sits upright, feel the full length of your spine as you broaden the chest through the reach of your arms. Take one more deep breath in Virabhadrasana 2. Keeping the bend in your right knee, wrap your left arm behind your back. Perhaps you catch hold of the top of your right thigh as you open the front of your left shoulder. Flip the right palm up and lift the lower spine from the sinking pelvis as you raise the right arm up and overhead for a side bend towards the rear of your mat in Peaceful Warrior. Breathe in and feel the right side of your rib cage expand a little more. Breathe out and soften that area. Just 2 more breaths here. Now firming down through both feet, engage the fronts of your thighs and straighten your legs to prepare for triangle, in which you might shorten your stance a couple inches. Slide your hips sideways towards the rear edge of your mat and reach the right hand past your right knee in this lateral reach before setting your hand down onto your right leg or just to the right side of it in order to stack your two wrists and shoulders in one line. Continue to turn out your right leg from the hip and add drawing that hip back towards the rear of your mat while lengthening the crown of your head forward towards the front of your mat. Turning your chest slightly up towards the sky, you might gaze towards the left thumb. If you're looking for more core strengthening in the sideways, microbend your right knee, extend both arms overhead so the palms face each other parallel, and continue to rotate the chest slightly towards the ceiling, drawing the hips towards the rear of your mat. In whatever variation of triangle, let's take 3 more deep breaths. Inhale, ground through both feet. Exhale, 3. Inhale, firm the belly in. Exhale, 2. Inhale, find space. Exhale, 3. Root down through your feet and rise up to stand. Rebend the right knee, take a breath in, and exhale, cartwheel your hands to plank and take your version of your vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Arriving in downward facing dog, breathe in to raise your left leg. As you exhale, bend the knee, turn open at the hip. Inhaling, tack your right hip further back. Then exhale, lightly tap the left knee outside your left outer upper arm to softly land the foot forward outside of your left hand. Set your right knee down and choose your version of lizard lunge. Whether you scoot the right knee back a little and bend it in order to stretch your quadricep, backstroking the left arm to catch hold of the right foot. Or you focus more on your left IT band by flexing the left foot as you splay the left thigh open, leaning on the outer edge of the foot. Or you just generally intensify this hip opener by lowering your forearms. As you listen to the sensations in your body, tune into your breath for about 4 more cycles. Now let's start to set up for Warrior 2, setting your 2 hands down in front of you. Step your left foot to the front and center of your mat and straighten your right leg, spinning the heel down. Align your left heel to intersect the arch of your right foot, and as you firm down through both feet, cartwheel the arms to rise up. Right away, be in the posture. Set your gaze steady just past the left hand and steady your conscious breathing. As your body holds still, feel these energies move within. Right leg from the hip, rotate slightly inward to slightly face the front of your mats, firming the outside edge of the right foot into the earth. Left leg from the hip turns out completely to face the front of your mat, bending the front knee just over the ankle. Frontal hip bones slightly lift towards the heart as the tailbone anchors towards the earth. Broadening the arms, feel the reach through all of your fingertips as you soften the shoulders down and lift through your crown. Last 3 breaths. Keep the bend in your left knee and wrap your right arm behind your back to open the front of the shoulder. Whatever you can reach, perhaps the inside or top of your left thigh. Flip the left palm face up, and as you root downward through the tailbone, lift up from the pelvis and reach the left arm overhead towards the rear edge of your mat. Peaceful warrior. Now focus on the left side ribs here and expand your breath as you breathe in there. Softening there as you breathe out. 2 more breaths. Feel the belly support the back by firming in against it. Then inhale to rise up. Let's prepare for triangle. Straighten both legs. You might shorten your stance a couple inches. Firm the fronts of your thighs and slide your hips sideways towards the back of your mat as you reach the left hand past your left knee, then down, either onto your leg or just to the left side of it, stacking your wrists and shoulders in one line. Notice your breathing pattern. Has it shifted? Any sensations in the body giving you information to adjust the pose? Perhaps you're looking up towards the right thumb as you turn your chest slightly to face the sky. Or you add a little more rigor for the side waist by extending both arms towards the front of your mat parallel to each other, palms facing each other. In whatever variation you choose, let's take 3 calm, deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale 3. Inhale. Exhale 2. One more breath. Exhale, stay where you are. Root down through your feet. Inhale, rise to warrior 2. Take another breath in. And exhale, cartwheel your hands to flow or go straight to downward facing dog. Downward dog, breathing in slowly. Match the out breath in length. Then with very bent knees, look ahead of your hands, and of your exhalation, lightly land at the top of your mat, forward fold. With your feet apart, hips distance, bend your knees and sink your hips, shifting more weight towards your heels as you reach the arms forward and up. A few breaths in modified chair pose. Now notice as you firm your outer hips towards your midline, you keep the 2 hips balanced, the 2 knees in one line. Maintaining that, join your hands at your heart and lengthen the spine forward as you draw the sitting bones back and down, keeping your heart higher than your hips. Begin to rotate your chest to face the right wall. Now keep your spine down the midline of your mat, because as we twist, sometimes the spine will go in the direction you're twisting. But keep tracing the spine down the midline and just feel your rib cage rotating like a globe on the axis of your spine. Now in this open-legged twist, you might find it a little more challenging to use the leverage of the left arm against the right thigh. So take whatever variation is sustainable here for a few breaths before we transition. Think of drawing the left hip towards the rear of your mat and lengthening the spine forward down the center line of your mat. Now shifting your weight onto your right foot. Engage the belly towards the back. Begin to lift the left heel off the floor. Maintaining the twist as much as you can, slowly step the ball of your left foot all the way to the rear of your mat. Passing through a twist in Warrior 3 as you land in a lunge twist. And when you land the left foot, you can also place the left knee on the ground if you want more support. You can either set the left hand down on the floor inside of the right foot, or perhaps hook the left elbow outside the right thigh as we stay about 3 more breaths. Feel the alignment of your pelvis. As you balance your 2 hips, feel support for your lower back. Breathing length into the spine, allow your rib cage to rotate, broadening the chest. 1 more full breath. Now look towards the front of your mat and slowly rise up, arms overhead in crescent lunge. Bending the back knee, draw your tailbone downward. Feel your pelvis align, squared and upright. Couple more breaths here, reaching up through the fingertips. Lengthen down the sides of your torso. Find a softness to your gaze and to your breath. Backstroke the arms, coil the chest towards the sky, perhaps even interlace the fingers behind your back. However you want to open the heart space for the last couple of breaths. Mindfully lengthening the lower back here as you draw the tailbone downward. Then join your hands together at your heart. Bow the spine forward just to hover off your right thigh. And as you flex the left foot, lean into Warrior Three. Paralleling the left leg and the spine to the floor. As you balance again your two hips, lift your lower belly. Lift the sides of your waist. Any variation with the arms. You could reach for the floor. You could open the arms. If you're looking for more core rigor, you could extend the arms forward, engaging more muscles in the back. Extend the heart forward, lift the front ribs towards the spine, and take 2 more deep breaths as you rotate the left outer hip towards the ground and tack the right outer hip back. Then gently step left foot, hips distance from right foot, and rise up to stand, mountain pose. Breathe in and open the mouth. Before entering side 2, shift your weight onto your left foot and join your hands together at your hearts. Flex your right foot and turn out your right thigh at the hip, crossing the right ankle over your left thigh like a figure 4. As you bend the left knee, evenly draw your sitting bones down behind you. As you lift the heart, gaze forward. How's your breathing? This is a preparation for flying single pigeon. You can stay in the preparation, perhaps raise the arms, or you can start to move towards the optional arm balance by setting your hands on the floor, a foot in front of your left toes. Then paralleling the arms as if lowering into chaturanga, bending the elbows. Crossing the right shin on top of both upper arms, clasping the outer left upper arm with the right toes. As you gaze ahead of your fingertips on the floor, you allow your body to shift forward, perhaps lifting the back leg. Whatever variation, how's your breathing? Now you could jump back, float into chaturanga and take a vinyasa if you like. Whatever variation you choose, we'll meet standing in mountain pose. Take your time getting there. Breathing in, breathing out. Now take a look at your feet in mountain, that they're hips width, parallel again. Then as you bend your knees, shift your weight back towards your heels, extending the arms forward and up, finding modified chair. Feel stability here for a few breaths before adding on. There's no rush to get anywhere, even if you know what's coming next. Be where you are in this practice of mindfulness. Then joining your hands at your heart, sink the hips back and lengthen your spine forward down the midline of your mat. At your waistline, begin to rotate your chest to face the left wall. Notice your 2 hips stay balanced. Each inhalation, you might sink the hips a little lower, keeping the heart higher than your hips, elongate your spine forward. Each exhalation, you might explore deepening the twist. While it's a little more challenging in this version, you might add the leverage of the right arm against the left thigh. Steady your gaze, steady your breathing, and stay connected to your center as you shift your weight onto your left foot. Begin to lift the right heel, and flexing the right foot, slowly straighten the leg behind you, passing through a twist in Warrior 3 before you land in lunge, twist. Whether you decide to lower the right knee or stay on the ball of your right foot, you can lower the right hand on the ground inside of the left leg, or hook the right elbow outside your left thigh, hands in prayer towards the center of your chest. Let's take 3 more deep breaths. What's wonderful is that yoga is always called a practice. What are we practicing for? Daily life. How do we handle being thrown off balance and coming back to our center? How do we handle whatever comes our way with a sense of grace and awareness? Start to look forward, rising up to crescent lunge. As you stand tall, bend your right knee, draw the tailbone downward, realign your pelvis with intention of containing your center. And from there, expand, rooting down through the legs, rising up through the spine and arms. Deep breaths. Steady, yet soften your gaze. Refining our tools for mental focus on what we choose to focus on. Last couple of breaths, add your variation of your arms for a back bend, whether you backstroke the arms or interlace the fingers behind you, lifting your heart, anchoring your tailbone down. Then join your hands together at your heart, gaze in front of your left toes on the ground, and tilt your spine forward to hover the belly off the left thigh. Flexing the right foot, shift your weight onto the left and lean into Virabhadrasana 3. Turning the right outer hip towards the ground, draw the left outer hip back, and elongate from both ends, the right heel and the crown of your head. Explore any variations with your arms here, about 3 more breaths. Remember, if you're looking for more core rigor, you could extend the arms forward. As you feel ready, set the right foot hips width from the left and come to stand. Mountain pose. So in this version of mountain pose, take a moment here, close your eyes, deep breath in through the nose, side out through the mouth. Then shifting your weight onto your right foot, join your hands in prayer. Flex your left foot, turn out your left leg from the hip, and cross your left ankle over your right thigh like a figure 4. Bend your right knee and sink your hips behind you. Feel the support of the belly hugging the spine as you lift your heart. So again, this is a preparation for flying single pigeon pose. Whether stay here and add any variations with your arms, or begin to lower into the arm balance itself by placing your hands 1 foot ahead of your right toes on the ground. Then crossing the left shin on top of the upper arms, wrap the top of your left foot around the right upper arm. Gazing on the ground ahead of your fingertips, shift your weight forward and hollow the belly. Remember the essence of rooting down. Do that with your left shin against your upper arms in order to rise up through your pelvis. Whether you decide to float back into a vinyasa or make your way, any way you choose, we'll meet in mountain pose. Breathing in, breathing out. So mountain pose, bring your feet together to touch this time and bend your knees together in a full chair. Inhale the arms overhead, then slowly lower the pelvis to the ground. Let's take 2 variations of Navasana or boat pose. And if you're experiencing any issues in the lower back, it might be helpful to place your hands just slightly behind your pelvis in both variations. But really, place the emphasis on how you draw the navel towards the spine and lift it towards the heart. So we're not sinking into the lower back, but we're using the abdomen to help uplift it. So from here, knees together, feet together, point or flex your toes. Lift your feet, knees bent or legs straight, maybe lift the arms. Now bring your attention to the bottom of your spine and imagine taking a deep breath there, the roots. Exhale 7. Now into your lower belly, breathe in. Exhale 6, your upper belly, the solar plexus, inhale. Exhale 5. Your heart center, middle of the chest, inhale. Exhale 4. Throat center. Exhale 3. Between the eyebrows, breathe in. Exhale 2. Above the crown of your head, inhale. Exhale, cross the ankles, flex the feet, plant your fingertips alongside your hips, take a deep breath, and imagine and try to lift your pelvis off the ground by lifting the pelvic floor. Set the feet down, take a moment to rest. Even in the sweat of it all, it's fun to feel that aliveness. So let's go one last time, a different version. Whether you use your hands on the ground or not, tilt back just enough to lift your legs. Take a deep breath and lift your spine tall. Now exhale, lower halfway down and hold in half boat pose. Inhale here, lower belly draws in and up, and exhale, lift up to full boat. Inhale here, exhale, lower, Ardha Navasana, half boat. Inhale, hold, exhale, lift, Navasana boat. 3 more rounds. Inhale, exhale, lower, pause, inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale, lower, inhale, exhale, lift. Last round, inhale, exhale, lower, inhale, exhale, lift. Cross the opposite ankle on top, flex your feet, plant your fingertips outside your hips. Take a deep breath, just visualize lifting your pelvic floor. Whatever happens externally, let it go. Then either cross your shins or swing your legs to one side so that you can step back to plank pose or all fours and take a moment in your choice of vinyasa, whether cat-cow or regular. Let's meet in downward facing dog. So we have time for your heating inversion practice. Whether you want to set up for dolphin pose on forearms or headstand, maybe a triangular base, tripod headstand. You might start from a wide-legged forward fold. Handstand or forearm balance, if that is part of your practice, feel free. If you're going to dolphin, I'll walk you through the first round. Set your elbows on the floor exactly shoulders width, forearms parallel or interlace the fingers. As you root down through the forearms, tuck your toes to lift the hips high. Then if you can, walk the feet forward, not allowing the shoulders to go forward of the elbows. Either they stack on top or they're slightly behind as you press the chest towards your shins. You also have the option of stepping the feet together, then raising one leg straight up, flexing the lifted foot and squaring both hips. After a few breaths, or maybe on the next round, after resting, you switch sides. So whether you take your inversion for 5 breaths at a time and rest in child's pose, or you go the full minute or 2, make it your own practice of going upside down in a way that's revitalizing for you. And as you're ready to rest, let's meet in child's pose. Slowing down the breath again and rebalancing it. From child's pose, once you've rested, plant your hands on the floor alongside your knees, tuck your chin to your chest, and with an inhalation, roll your spine slowly upright to sit with your legs in front. Now we're going to give the shoulders a little stretch before we enter a few more back bends. So if you want to grab a strap in support of your shoulders, feel free. Coming into cow face pose, the full version. Extend your left leg forward and cross your right thigh over your left thigh so much that perhaps your knees can stack down your midline. Either keeping your left leg straight, that's a modification to help you balance, or bending both knees and splaying both feet wide apart, gently flexed. Make sure your sitting bones are grounded, that's more important. Now with your left hand up, you could hold a strap hanging down behind you. Guide the left elbow behind the center of your head so that your left palm lands between your shoulder blades. If you don't have a strap, grab your shirt there. Reach the right hand underneath behind, grab your shirt to the strap, and walk your hands as close together as you can. Maybe they clasp. Then as you root the sitting bones again, breathe length up the center of your spine, opening your throat and broadening your chest. Keeping those two areas open, hinge from your hips a little per breath. As you make your way into a forward fold in Gomukhasana, cow face pose. Let's take 3 more breaths. Now as you firm the pelvis down, firm the belly against the back, lead with your chest and inhale to slowly lift your spine. Then release the arms. Straightening both legs, maybe give them a quick shake. Then cross the left thigh over the right, stacking the knees. If you're able to bend both knees and flex the feet apart. Ground the sitting bones and raise the right arm, perhaps hanging the strap behind you. Guide the right elbow behind the center of your head so your palm lands between your shoulder blades. Grab your shirt if you don't have a strap. Reach the left hand under, grab your shirt to the strap, and walk your hands as close together as you can. Maybe they clasp. From down through the pelvis, breathe up through the spine, broaden the chest, and open the throat. As you exhale, begin to fold. As you inhale, pause where you are, root down, and lengthen forward. As you exhale, continue to fold. Let's take about 3 more deep breaths here. Now leading with your chest, breathe in as you slowly rise up. All right, let's come down to the floor on our stomachs for the last few heart opening back bends. Coming down, place your forehead on the ground, bring your knees close together, setting up for locust with an option to transition into bow, Shalabhasana to Dhanurasana. Slide your arms down by your thighs with your palms face down and actively press the heels back while paralleling your feet, pointing the toes behind you in order to lift the legs as you root your pubic bone and coil your chest up. Without cranking your neck, look on the floor ahead. Now raise the arms. You can open up the arms or reach them forward, or bend the knees, entering bow, catch the outer feet, and kick the legs towards straight while you pull your feet. In either case, imagine you're hugging a block between your thighs so that your knees don't splay wider than hips distance. This is added support for your lower spine. Shoulder blades down the back. Breathe your heart space wide and lifted. After finishing 5 to 10 deep breaths, exhale to let it all go. Take a few breaths to rest. And let's enter the last heart-opening back bend of your choice. Perhaps locust, bow, flipping onto your back for bridge or upward bow, camel pose. I'm going to go ahead and take camel pose. If you want to follow me there, come to stand on your knees. Tuck the toes behind you and step the knees hips width apart. Place the hands on your lower back, fingertips face down, and draw your tailbone towards the ground between the knees. Lift the back ribs, bend the elbows close together, and coil your chest up for 5 to 10 deep breaths. If you're able to keep the pelvis directly above the knees and reach your hands back to catch one or both heels, try adding that. When you decide to come out, use the support of your hands on your lower back and slowly roll your spine upright so that you can sit and rest. Whether you're resting lying down or you're resting sitting down, close your eyes and place your left hand on your heart, your right hand on your belly. Take a slow in-breath for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale through the mouth for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Once more on your own. Let's meet lying on our backs. As you lie on your back, bend your right knee into your chest and slide your left leg forward on the ground, preparing for a supine spinal twist. Open your right arm to the right and ground the shoulder as you cross your right thigh over your body to the left. Just the amount that allows your right shoulder to stay connected to the earth. By turning your head to face the right side, you can give your neck a stretch. And by drawing the right outer hip towards your left foot, you can add a little deeper traction for your lower spine. Let's take 2 last slow exhalations here. At the end of the out breath, roll back to center and bend the left knee into your chest, straighten the right leg forward on the ground. Open your left arm to its side and firming the shoulder against the floor, begin to twist to your right. Perhaps turning your head to the left. To add more traction and release the lower back, draw your left outer hip forward towards your right foot. Allow 2 more very long exhalations here. And roll onto your back and lift your knees towards your chest. Take a minute to lift your legs in any restful way. Perhaps you practice shoulder stand or plow, or have a wall to lift the legs up against. If you chose shoulder stand or plow, a great counterbalancing asana is fish pose after that, when you gradually lower the spine to the floor and the pelvis is on the ground. It's where you bring the legs together, relaxed and straight, and you slip the palms face down underneath your pelvis so the thumbs touch. Then rooting down with your forearms and elbows, you lift the chest and tilt the chin back. You might be able to even bring the top of your head to the ground, as if looking behind you. And then here you can take lion's breaths, long exhalations with the mouth wide and the tongue out, or just 3 to 5 last breaths before lowering entirely onto the ground. As you're ready, start to lower your body into a position of rest, allowing yourself a few minutes to integrate the experience of your practice and what you've cultivated here into where you go next. And with your eyes still closed, feeling your body breathing, take your time to gently move your fingers and toes, perhaps your head, and ease into a stretch, transitioning from corpse pose towards a seated meditation. Whether you choose to turn over to your right side in a fetal position or to rock and roll forward and back in any way. Find your way up, rising. I invite you to choose the meditation practice that's been working for you. It is important to have a consistent way to meditate if you found something that's been effective. So whether you choose to place an object in front and gaze at it, or you close your eyes and observe your breathing, allowing it to anchor your attention as you feel into whatever comes up in mind and body. Whatever your meditation practice, let's sit together and share for 2 minutes. Breathing in, slide your palms to meet at your heart. Breathing out, keep your heart lifted, bowing in to seal our practice. The other day I read a post by a Native American elder addressing the global community during this pandemic. And he said in these times of feeling held back and suppressed in many ways, to continue to make your art, to dance, to sing, to feel alive and connected to the earth and the joy that brings. Because it's only in that place of pure love, our natural inherent being, that we can be of benefit to each other in enhancing global well-being. So thank you for showing up for this practice today. Let's close with one Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.